the SEO trends and which are very much popular in 2021. And today I'll be taking you through one of the top 5 of the best SEO trends which you can really take into practice. Okay, and once you take this into practice, I'm sure that you are going to boost your rankings, your pages or whatever websites you're trying to optimize. So it will be definitely getting a good visibility on Google search engine. All right, and yeah, so my name is Sadashiv Pal and I will be your webinar host for the day. And yeah, speaking about me, so I've got almost 10 years of experience into digital marketing and SEO being my core role of expertise. All right, so let me just quickly share my screen with you guys so that we can just go through the PPT which I've made, which will give you a good idea about what all things is going to cover into this particular webinar. Okay, guys. So yeah, there we go. So we are going to talk about top 5 SEO trends which are trending into 2021 and what is their impact and how can we keep ourselves boosted with those latest trends and how can we get this into our regular SEO practice. Yeah. So the table of content would be just the overview and agenda of this webinar and understanding the SEO metrics. And we'll speak about few of the major Google algorithmic updates and their trends and their impact. And post that, we'll be having a Q&A session in which you can just drop your questions onto the chat box. All right, guys. So guys, see, best practices for all the search engine optimization will always continue to evolve year after year. And as an agency or maybe as a website owner, you know, SEO professionals all do too well. But any business which doesn't want to end up with getting on wrong pages or new, maybe you're just getting some kind of Google algorithmic update and you're not keeping the pace and not making certain changes on your website. So this might affect your SEO efforts and also might affect your rankings. So top ranking SEO performance requires attention to many metrics since SEO is a vast project. So which includes getting good traffic from the website, getting good backlinks and social sharing. So just to name a few. Okay, so the SEO practice includes basically the 3 elements, which is on page, off page and technical SEO. So we'll be, since you guys might be aware of on page, off page and technical SEO, still I would just like to brief you about the same. So on page SEO is something that which is into your control and whatever changes which you're trying to do onto your website. You're updating the meta tags of your website, you're updating the URLs, maybe you're just giving some SEO friendly kind of URLs, updating your images, the content, the UI UX of your website. So those all things are the on-page optimization of your SEO font. And speaking about the off-page font, so off-page is something that which is not into your control, like acquiring backlinks from certain websites, doing some kind of citation submission, social bookmarking, and posting content, doing guest blogging, doing forum commenting. So these all practices are included into an off-page SEO technique. And speaking something about technical SEO. So technical SEO refers to something which is happening onto the backend of your website. So like what is the page speed of your website and have you implemented FAQ schema on your website and what are the content structuring. So many such examples or many such metrics are included into the technical SEO. So moving to the other slide. So we'll be understanding the importance of SEO. All right. So guys, see, visibility and ranking is one thing which plays a very important role into the SEO, the web traffic, the trustworthiness, the user experience, and obviously the growth. All right, so let's just deep dive something deeper into it, what exactly this metrics are. So let's speak about visibility and rankings. When searching for a service or a product online, users are more likely to choose one of the 5 suggestions that the search engine shows them. So SEO actually helps you to rank higher onto that search results and gain more visibility online. making potential customers more likely to cover your site and convert them into customers or maybe potential customers. And let's speak about the web traffic. To simply to simply put this up, if potential customers can't find your website, sales opportunities are being missed. SEO increases your organic search engine traffic, in turn increasing the number of visitors your page sees each day. This directly correlates to increase in sales, because the more relevant people that see your site, the more likely you're to sell to them, and more likely you're getting your visibility, and more likely the people are clicking on them. And the other factor, which is very important, is building a trustworthy website. So the better your SEO score is, the higher you will appear on search engines like Google, Bing, just to name a few. Even Yandex, DuckDuckGo, Yahoo, those are the search engines, but the most trending ones are Google and Bing, which consumes almost 70% of the searches which are made worldwide. While ranking higher on Google, Google is appealing to all the brands, because to increase their visibility. A second-hand benefit is that the trust which you gain with the potential customers, users intend to defer the recommendations that a search engine generates. So having a higher position for a keyword a user is searching for, which will in turn solidify your product and will give you a very good trustworthiness factor from Google as well, and into the customers mind as well. So let's speak about something about user experience. A well optimized website clearly communicates what product or services is getting offered by that particular website, how to obtain it, answering any questions surrounding it, the navigation of a page. So many things are going around the user experience. By catering the site built to the user's experience, search engines like Google and Bing are able to easily pull out the information they need to relate to the user, whatever they are trying, or maybe just giving them the relevant query, giving them the relevant website for the query which they are trying to search onto the search engine. If a user struggles to navigate your site, chances are that their search engines might not show your pages up, because if it is getting your website is not having good kind of user experience, or maybe user interaction, so maybe Google won't prefer your website to be shown onto his top page. Okay, so now moving on to the next metric, which is growth. So there's no doubt about it that SEO is key to growth of your brand. As we mentioned above, onto all the other elements and importance of SEO, the higher you rank on search engine for a variety of high volume keywords, the more organic traffic or non-paid traffic, web traffic your site will receive. It is as simple as that. A website that is well optimized is more likely to gain more customers and make more sales. People are also more likely to then share your brand across the social platforms like Facebook, Instagram, or anything else, or once they've found your website through a search engine. So having a SEO optimized website is really a big boon, because this will initially decrease your paid traffic and decrease your whatever paid activities which you guys are doing. Okay, so let's now check some of the Google algorithmic updates. All right, so do you guys know something about what was the first major Google algorithmic update? So it started with Panda, which was launched in 2011, and then Penguin, then Hummingbird, the mobile update, the RankBrain update, and BERT update. So we'll be speaking in brief about each and every update into this session. Okay, so now let's just understand that why Google is making this kind of algorithmic update. So Google claims to update its search algorithm several thousand times per year, but only the updates which are major. So we are going to cover that. And as per the latest news, we came to know it's just kind of an interesting fact that Google really makes more than 3,000 updates in a particular year. So in absolute majority of the cases, Google algorithmic updates are too small to notice, but every once in a while, Google introduces a change so fundamental that it disrupts the way we do SEO forever. So some of the changes are small, some of the changes are very much huge. So which will definitely impact your rankings. And to we have to stay up to date while we are doing any kind of SEO practices. So we'll learn in brief about most of the major updates by Google which impacted SEO majorly. So the first update was launched in the year 2011. The launch date was February 24th. Okay, so what this update was talking about? So this update was about the Panda update. It is called as Panda update. So the hazards of this update were, so any particular content or any website which has got duplicate or plagiarized or thin content or user generated spam or keyword stuffing practices, or maybe some kind of black hat SEO practices involved into them. So this update usually affected those websites. So now let's understand how this Panda algorithmic update works. So the Panda algorithmic update assigns to so-called quality score of the web pages. This score is then used as a ranking factor. Initially, the effects of Panda were mild, but in January 2016, it was permanently incorporated into Google's core algorithm. Since then, update rollouts have become more frequent. Both Panda penalties and recoveries now happen faster. Now, how did the user or the website owners adjusted to this particular update? So they did regular site checks for content duplication, thin content or keyword stuffing, and then they minimized all this black hat practices, and then they were also minimized with Google penalties. And to that, and to do all these things, you will always need a site auditing crawler like SEO optimizer or SEO power suite website auditor. So this kind of tools will really help you guys to audit your website if it is having duplicate or plagiarized or thin content. So let's understand something about the other update, which is named as Penguin update. So it was launched in the year 2012, and the major focus of this update was to highlight spammy or irrelevant links and links with over optimized anchor text. So most of the people had a wrong kind of feeling that we can just put our anchor text into all the content which is placed onto it, and which was kind of a black hat practice, and Google literally highlighted it. And yeah, so the Google Penguin's objective was to downrank the sites whose backlinks look unnatural. This update was put to an end to low effort link building, like buying links from link farming sites and other networks. And how did the other website owners stay up to date with this? So to stay safe from the effects of Google Penguin update, so we have to monitor our link profiles growth, do regular audits, check the DA score and boost the DA score, having some kind of quality backlinks from the other side. In the, you'll have to constantly look at the quality of the backlinks which you're getting rather than focusing onto the quantity of backlinks which you're trying to get. So now let's move on further with the Hummingbird update. So Hummingbird update usually focused on keyword stuffing and low quality content. So the Hummingbird algorithm helps Google better interpret search queries and provide results that match searcher's intent as opposed to the initial individual terms within the query. While keywords continue to be important, the Hummingbird algorithm makes it possible for a particular page to rank for every query. If it doesn't contain the exact words the searchers entered, the website won't rank. This is achieved with the help of the natural language processing, which is also known as NLP, that relies on latent semantic indexing, the combination of keyword for a primary keyword. That is called as the latent semantic indexing. So co-occurring terms and synonyms. And how to adjust this in case if you don't know much about Hummingbird update. So we have to expand our keyword research and focus on concept behind the keywords. We have to understand the intent of the user and carefully analyze related searches, synonyms, co-occurring terms, and great sources of such ideas are Google related searches, the auto suggest searches, the Google related questions, as well as the Google autocomplete suggestions. Now let's move further with the mobile update. So now Google observed that most of the people are scrolling content and trying to find the content from the mobile. So what they did is that they tried focusing much more onto the mobile in the year 2015. So website which has got lack of mobile version of a page, poor mobile usability or mobile friendliness, so Google penalized those websites, or maybe they didn't rank those websites. So now let's understand how this works. This and the subsequent mobile search update have shifted the focus from a desktop to a mobile version of your website. Today, Google ranks all the website based on how fast the website is, how user-friendly the website is, or how user-friendly the mobile website is particularly, and how to keep abreast with this. So optimizing the pages for the mobile search, focusing on speed and usability, Google's mobile friendly and friendly URL and the page test are a few of the URLs wherein you can just go and test your mobile friendliness, which will help you to see the aspects of your page to be improved. Let's dig it further to the RankBrain update, so which was launched in the year 2015. So the hazards of RankBrain update were lack of query specific relevance, shallow content, and poor user experience. RankBrain is a part of Google's Hummingbird algorithm. It's a machine learning system that helps Google understand the meaning behind the queries and serve best matching search results in response to those queries. So Google calls RankBrain because RankBrain as the third most important ranking factor. While we don't know actual formula that what is behind this major update, the consensus is that RankBrain is responsible for customizing a user's Google search results. Basically, Google goes beyond a person's search query and takes into account the larger context like synonyms, implied words, personal search history, and etc. So how to adjust about this algorithm? Optimizing your pages for relevance and comprehensiveness with the help of competitive analysis, the website's auditor tool, or there are many other tools which will tell you that and give you the entire list of relevant terms and concepts used by the larger number of your top ranking competitors. And we have to find a way to add this term to the content so that we can get a good search relevance, and it will be increasing dramatically. So now moving further, one of the latest major update, which was BERT update. So let's understand about BERT. So BERT, which stands for bidirectional encoder representations from transformers, is a neural network based technique for a natural language processing pre-training. So this means that anyone can use BERT algorithm to train their own language processing system for question answering or any other task. So what did BERT update focused about? So the major focus of the BERT update was to highlight the poor written content, lack of focus, or the lack of context which is written into the content. Now, the Google Algorithmic update, the BERT update actually uses NLP again, technology to better understand search queries, interpret text, identifies entities and relationship between the entities. We have seen Panda, Hummingbird, and RankBrain updates move away from keywords, and the BERT update is culmination of this effort. It allows Google to understand how much nuance in both queries and search results are. And how do we adjust about this Google algorithmic update for BERT is that we have to see the day when Google is actually rewarding good writing. So like never before, it is important to strive for meaningful copy. So you have to generate your own content, and it means you should go on easy on fluff words and adopt an expository style of writing. It is also a good idea to do entity research when creating a copy. Including relevant entities helps create context, very good context, in fact, for your content. So now let's just see the other trends, the top 5 trends which we'll be speaking about in this webinar. So the first trend is that we have to focus on user plus search intent. So now let's just understand. So in 2021, it's time to focus user search and user intent for real. While it is hardly a new trend or a concept, every year it is important to refocus because searchers' intent and behavior keeps on changing all the time, especially when the year that was 2020, when it was so much rapidly changed due to this COVID thing. So Google even got better at recognizing when a searcher is looking for expert advice. Those posts will rank above all the other articles, or maybe the other website which are ranking onto the SERP pages written by content writers. So we'll speak more about EAT algorithm also. So EAT is a Google update which usually stands for expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. So expertise refers to the creator of the main content and considers their credibility. So we have seen practices like wherein people usually copy paste content from some other websites and put into their own pages. So for example, a person who doesn't have any qualification in healthcare but blogs their own theories and diagnosis of health related issue is unlikely to rank above an established healthcare professional website. Essentially, expertise indicates that if a writer is an expert in the topic or a question. So expertise is very much important. So as per the Google guidelines, they verify that expertise can be demonstrated less formally, such as in detailed reviews or forums. Okay, now let's understand what does A stands for. A stands for authoritativeness. Authoritativeness is all about providing your site and authority in your area. The number of backlinks you have from a relevant site, authoritative sites helps your site to go up and boost your ranking. For an example, if your website is an online fashion retailer and fashion magazines begin to mention your website, begin to mention your brand into their online articles and links onto their website. So your authority can increase as search engines will start to recognize your site and recommend it to other users, and this will eventually build your trustworthiness. So speaking about the other factor, which is trustworthiness. Trustworthiness is exactly how it sounds, how trustworthy your site is. This can be demonstrated by having a secure domain which protects users for personal information through positive customer reviews. If your website is not having HTTP as initials, so it might not gain that trustworthiness. It's worth noting that if you receive too many negative reviews, search engines will interpret your site as a poor quality and will impact your position on the search engine's ranking page. So the next trend is voice search. So now you guys might be aware that we usually use more of our mobiles as of now, and most of the people are quite lazy to type a query onto their mobile phones as well. So we usually use the voice search button or located into our mobile phones. And yeah, so voice search will have a very big impact into the search queries. So we should be thankful to innovations like Google Assistants, Apple Siri, Amazon's Alexa. The voice search technology has quite become very much popular around the long way. As technology has gotten better now, so it has gotten more popular. In fact, the percentage of households predicted to own smart speakers by 2022 is 55%. So it says that by the end of the year 2022, 55% of the households might have some kind of voice search devices installed into their home. So to optimize for voice search, consider your keywords. Identify long phrases that people are using in everyday conversation. Voice searches tend to do better with longer phrases, more natural sounding phrasing. When people type, they tend to abbreviate. So for an example, what was the last search which I did onto a Google's search? So a person might use voice search. What are the new SEO trends in 2021? And so this is something which I will speak onto my voice search. So hey Siri or hey Google, please tell me what are the latest new SEO trends for 2021. But when we are typing, we type words like new SEO trends 2021. So this is how we have to optimize for long tail keywords to get a better ranking, since voice search is increasing gradually. So let's talk about the third trend, which is mobile first indexing. And this was the latest algorithmic update which Google rolled out into which was Google planning to roll out in the year 2019, but later on it got rolled out into year 2020. So the term itself says that mobile first indexing. So Google will now first index the mobile version of a website. So if you can just look at the slide, so you can see that Google earlier used to index the desktop site. So the crawler will crawl the desktop version first, and then they will determine the rankings for mobile and desktop. So they will check that if mobile version is present, so they will boost mobile rankings. And now similarly, it has got replaced with mobile first indexing. So in case if your website is not doesn't have mobile first indexing, then Google crawler will crawl the desktop version. Okay, so mobile first indexing is in very layman term is that your Google uses the mobile version of the content for indexing and ranking. Historically, the index primarily used was for the desktop version of pages content when evaluating the relevance of a page to a user's query. So to make sure that your page is user friendly, you have to ensure that Google can crawl your URLs. So you don't have any disavow directive in place. And also we should be beware that Googlebot won't load content requiring user interaction like clicking or swiping. So we have to make sure that Google can see so-called lazy loaded content. So for an example, if your website has got a image which is too huge or maybe too big to load, so we have to lazy load the image, and possibly we have to also lazy load the content itself. So if we are using it onto the mobile, we have to use some kind of accordion style so that the UI and UX are in place while we are optimizing for mobile SEO. So finally, we have to ensure that we use the same meta robot stack onto the desktop and mobile side. We use the same meta tags, the meta titles, the image alt text. So everything should be same as it is on desktop side. So in case if we are having more content onto the desktop side but lesser content onto the mobile side, it means that we might lose on Google rankings because now Google is indexing the mobile site first. So in case if your mobile site is carrying less information, so there is a possibility that you might lose rankings for most of the keywords or few of the keywords for your mobile SEO. So let's talk about trend number 4. So the long form content. Okay, so it is about creation of long form content which will help in improving the SERP rankings. All right. So now guys, according to most of the marketing reports, long reads of 3,000 plus words gets 3 times of more traffic. So this is a very interesting fact that if your website or if your page has got a good long form content, so it is possible that you will really get more traffic and 4 times more share. So we can also, as per the reports, we saw that long form content usually acquired 3.5 times more backlinks than the articles of the average length of 900 or maybe 1000 words. So we have to start focusing on long form content to achieve higher search rankings. So content must maintain quality, content must maintain the EAT-ness of the SEO. Like it should be exploitative content and it should not be duplicated content. So the aim is to provide users the shareable information that keeps them engaged. So it is very important that if you are developing a long form content, so it should not be cluttered with too much information. It should be broken down into certain pieces, which should include the video, which should include the images, maybe some knowledge graphs, or maybe some statistics, so which will keep your users engaged. So now a few of the best practices for this is that you have to break up your content into sections. So like in case if you have written a long form content, you will give one H1 tag to the primary title of that particular page. And then we have to further break down the other subtopics into H2 and H3 tags, H3 subheadings to make it more scannable for the Google crawler. Subheadings are especially important for mobile sites. So we have to make sure that we are including the subheadings as well. Secondly, we have to ensure that the links are relevant and authoritative scores with those links are also relevant. So see, to give an example, in case if my website is talking about some food blogging, and I am getting a link from a digital marketing website, so there's no point of getting a link from a digital marketing website, even though the DA score of that particular website, that digital marketing website is quite higher, maybe 90 plus, and my food blogging website is just 20 or 25 DA score, but still that website has got it is irrelevant to my business. So eventually, if I'm trying to get some backlinks from a website which is irrelevant for my site, so it won't make any sense, because initially in first few weeks we might receive traffic from that high DS score website, but it will impact your SEO score on a long run, because users might be coming onto your website from a digital marketing website and they might not be interested into food topics, so they will just exit your website. Initially, this will increase your bounce rate. So it is very important that we get some relevant links from relevant website, which is as per our business. So it is very much important to research about the backlinks and getting the backlinks from the relevant websites. So finally, we have to ensure that the content is very much easy to share. So you might be aware that most of the content pages of blog pages, they have got some social share buttons included into them, like Facebook, Instagram, or maybe WhatsApp embedded into them. So this you can easily share with others, and others may find it very much interesting to read it, because if you are sharing the content within your group of friends, or maybe some FB groups, or your own WhatsApp status, or anything like that, so that your own users or friends might be very much interested to read those long form content or whatever you are sharing. So this inclusion of the social media sharing links onto the pages is a very good practice. Okay, so now let's just talk about local search. So now the fifth trend is that local search listings will play a larger role in SEO strategies. So now let's understand that what exactly is local SEO or local search. So local SEO is a search engine strategy, search engine optimization strategy that helps our business to be more visible into the local search results on Google. So for an example, if I'm having you can say that some kind of art and craft store installed into my household place, or maybe into my within my house. So I am making some kind of art and craft, like I'm making some wall hangings, I am making some kind of different products like flower vase or something like that. So my business is limited to this particular area only, since I'm located in Mumbai. So my primary focus would be targeting the users who are looking for these items into Mumbai location only. So there's no point in targeting the global location of India, since any business that has got a physical location or services into a geographical area, so we can benefit from local SEO. So local SEO is optimization of websites within a particular radius or within a particular local area. Okay, so when people think of internet, they often think that it is global. So this is global in nature. So this is kind of a wrong concept. So whenever you're thinking of internet, you in terms of SEO, especially in terms of local SEO, we have to think that it is not global, it is just local. So the fact is, most people use search engines to find localized goods and services. So they might be hunting for a neighborhood restaurant. For an example, local SEO is important and it is evolving. And for example, if I'm trying to search coffee shops near me, best Chinese restaurants near me, so I would be very much interested into getting the local searches on the local websites which are catering to my needs. So this evolution is in part because the rise of zero-click searches. Zero-click searches is something like wherein the user is just searching something on Google, but they are not clicking onto the websites which Google are showing. So just to remove this, so local SEO was implemented. So where some SEO marketers are dubbing the new normal. So in a zero-click search, the user's query is answered via SERP itself. So for an example, you can see that coffee shops near me would just give you some kind of map listing data for the stores located into your nearby areas. So this is something which we have to take care of. So to boost it into your rankings, so you have to implement local SEO also. So there might be possibility that you guys are website owners, or you guys might be working for a company or maybe for a business. So implementing the local SEO is one of the very good trend, and it is a very good strategy to get your website ranked onto the local searches happening nearby. So apart from this, we have got many other trends also which we need to take care of. So like data analytics, which should become our priority when we want to remain ahead of our competitors into ranking. So Google Analytics plays a very important role into it. So if my website is collecting good data, and if I'm trying to optimize those data into some very good strategy, so maybe how we can do that. So let me give you an example. So my website has got 10 pages. For an example, I'm running a food blogging site and it has got 10 pages, and I am publishing good content every month onto those 10 pages, but still my website is not ranking. So what we can do, we can do the data analysis for that particular page. So what pages are getting good number of impressions, but they're not getting good clicks. So I have to further deep dive into those pages and see that what exactly is the problem. So why the users are coming to my website and they're just exiting in couple of seconds. So my website is appearing on Google, but still the users are not clicking my website. So what might be the problem? So I'll have to further deep dive into it and dig in and check at what my website is lacking or what that particular page is lacking. So I'll further optimize if I'm lacking some kind of not that good page title or meta description. So I'll just work on them. If it is not including any kind of images or video onto that page, so I'll try to include some more elements into my web pages. So this will initially help me to boost my ranking. So data analysis is very important, and it is one of the top priority to analyze and to improve your website. Okay, so now the latest algorithmic update which we spoke about was the mobile first indexing. So after that, it was something like Google recently launched page speed algorithm or page speed experience. So which is the latest one which we need to take care of. So page speed is that how quickly your page is getting loaded. So if somebody is searching your website on mobile, so how quickly it is getting loaded. And if somebody is searching your website onto a desktop version, so how quickly those pages are getting loaded. So it is very much important that we optimize the pages of from an page speed experience perspective. So there are many things which we talk about page speed algorithm. So so page speed is speaking something about the LCD of the website. Like there are many elements which goes into it. So we have to further deep dive into it and see that Google usually provides a recommendation for how to improve this page speed scores of your website. Okay, and now let's see that what all other trends are which we have to keep in mind. So we have to keep in mind about the image optimization. So for an example, if your website has got n number of images and those images are not optimized, so maybe you are a photographer and you have got tons of images onto your website, but those images are not optimized. So how would you optimize an image? So giving a title to an image and optimizing it further, like you can reduce the site without affecting the quality of the image. You can give image alternative tags to your images. Since Googlebot is a crawler, and the crawler can crawler only has the capability of crawling the content which is present onto the website. So they don't have ability to crawl the images. So for that purpose, we have to optimize the images as well. So it is very important, so that we usually get rankings if somebody is searching onto the Google image section also. Okay, so apart from that, inclusion of videos onto our pages. So if it is very important that we also include videos onto our pages. So the major reason of inclusion of videos onto our pages is that if somebody is coming onto your website, onto our web page, and they are spending more time onto our page, and videos usually have a very good idea of converting a particular mind. So video plays a very important role when somebody is viewing your content and they are trying to understand what your product or services are. Okay, All right. So now let's just understand something more about one more thing, which is called as featured snippets. So, guys, featured snippet also plays a very important role, because the moment when we try to search something on Google, so what happens is that we will usually um, click on the topmost result which we are getting. So it is very important that we also optimize our featured snippets. So we don't have to generate long-term content for optimizing a featured snippet extensively, but we can also have it by having a small content onto our website. So scoring a featured snippet is a great way to get what is coveted first onto the pages of results or onto the SERP pages. So featured snippets show a chunk of information often structured as question and answers or brief bulleted points or how to do something guide. They are also rich snippets including images or star-based reviews, product prices, or similar content onto the website, which are giving bits of information. So to create snippets, we have to focus on question-based scenarios. So again, we have to do that keyword research and the content marketing strategies and check out that what exactly the customers are looking out for and what exactly they are trying to search. So there are many websites which usually gives you ideas about the questions and answers which the customers are searching. So to name a few, Answer the Public is one of a very good website which usually gives you very good ideas that what exactly the customers are searching for a particular topic. So for this, we can also use Google search function of people also ask for inspiration. Okay, guys. So yeah. All right. So guys, yeah, this is it with the latest trends which we spoke about. So let's just conclude conclude something about the SEO fund. So guys, SEO is getting more and more complex as the above list makes it clear. So the days of simply optimizing keywords and meta titles are long gone. So earlier we used to simply optimize the keywords and meta tags and we used to rank higher on Google, but this is not the case since the Google bot crawler is now very much smart enough to crawl the relevant content and you give it to the users. So just keep in mind one thing, guys. So whenever you're trying to optimize a particular page, so make sure that you're thinking from a customer's perspective. Don't think it from a Google's perspective, because Google will only love your pages or your website if you're thinking from a customer's perspective. So if you're giving good services to the customers, if you're giving good content to the customers or to the user searching a query, then Google will definitely rank your websites higher. So with SEO's current trend, we have to think about everything from voice control to video SEO. Metrics will keep on changing, and it is critical to stay on top of a place for all the keywords which you're trying to track. So the right SEO tools might help you guys to track your competitors, what else they are doing, what different they are doing. So we have to monitor them and we have to develop our own strategy of content marketing or formulating a SEO strategy as well. Okay, guys. So yeah. So guys, thank you so much for attending this webinar, and would suggest you to please keep following Naukri Learning to stay up to date with latest digital marketing techniques and trends. And Naukri Learning has really got some cool learning materials along with projects and assignments, which will really give you a very good idea and will make you pro and industry ready. All right, guys. So yeah, the session is open. So in case if you feel that you have any questions about the techniques, trends, or any specific terms which you didn't got into this video, so you can just simply drop in your query onto the chat box.